What's up, y'all? It's Lionel the Builder. We're back again, working. Wait. Why do I always wait until it's live to test the sound? Hold up. Let me get this set up. Should be this one, right? At least that gives people time to actually get here. Check, check. Okay. Copy this. Testing over here. Testing over here. And that didn't work over here. This one. There we go. Alright, we should be good now. Yo, what's up, bro? Got a lot of stuff to do today, man. I figured it's hard for me to not sit here without going live now, man. It's like I might as well. I'm working anyway. Might as well see who else is out here chilling with me. I hope y'all having a good Friday. Looks like the sound is good. Just gonna play that, and in the other screen I'm working on some other stuff. Get your courses, whatever you're doing. Yo, what's up, bro? I should put some like JavaScript on or something instead of just listening to music. We could multitask, right? Maybe even HTML. Nah, we'll go straight to React.
So many folks reach out, Leon, how can I code? How can I learn how to do this? How can I do this? So many folks think they want it. They'll even say they want it,
okay,
but they're not ready to carry the boats and the logs. And each person that continue to show up class after class, week after week, month after month, putting in the work, you're not the same. You're built different. You have something in you that other folks don't have. You're a fucking software engineer. But more than that, you got heart. It takes a lot to continue to show up. So I don't care where you're at in the process. I don't care how deep in the hunt you are. I don't care if you're on class 1 or class 69.
There we go.
You're not the same. You decided there was something that you wanted, and you put in the work to get it done. Unlike thousands and thousands of other people.
Zero to mastery.
That say they want it, but they kind of want it. And they're not willing to put in the work. So I want you to carry that with you. Tonight, the rest of our time together as we wrap up the things we need to wrap up in this cohort. But forever,
There we go.
I got a lot of thank yous I need to throw out there. A lot of things I want to say. We're gonna talk about what's next, and then we're gonna hang out. We're gonna do some stuff together this evening. So, as always, I like to give folks a few seconds to get in. If you got questions, I got some answers. There'd be people, some of you, and we have stuff that the mods are so quick to remove, to have passionate discussions about whether or not these things are right for our community. Do we want these things to continue? And if you've ever had a good experience at 100 devs, it's because of the mods. Bilal and I talk once a week, and every good thing that I have come up with has either come from Bilal. Don't agree. You're gonna need sleep if you want to learn how to code. This is not something that you can sheer force of will. This is not something that you can grind for 12, 14 hours a day and expect to actually retain it all so that when you're in an interview you do well. You gotta prioritize sleep. Okay? Now, I've been there. I get it. I get where hustle culture comes from. I get where grind culture comes from. I have had some wonderful experiences in my life that have been the result of not sleeping. But let me tell you the dark side of success, right? So I always joke that the very first like money that I raised for my first, like one of my first real businesses, the first $100,000 I raised, let's say that, all happened because I slept underneath my desk. Okay. So me and my co-founder, we were going through a program called Techstars, and we would stay up really late, grinding away, coding, building, right? And we would be so tired that we didn't want to walk home, so we would sleep underneath our desks. And then on Fridays, we would have these VCs that would come in, and they would bring donuts and coffee, and it was like 8:30 in the morning, so nobody else was there, but we would like come like stumbling out from underneath our desk. We would drink their coffee, we eat their donuts, we shake their hands, we say thank you, and then we go back to sleep underneath our desk. They wound up leading my first round that helped me raise $500,000. So I've been there. I've done the grind. I've done the 20-hour days. What happened is that did not last, right? It got me some initial success, but I still have to wear braces on my hand. I still have pain most nights when I go to sleep. I burnt out way quicker than I would have imagined. It contributed to, in my heart of hearts, some of my earliest manic episodes because I have bipolar disorder. And so, yes, there can be some advantages of this grind. But I'm here to tell you, it is not worth it. The sleep will help you consolidate. The sleep will help your body repair. Doing this is a very physical exercise. I know we're sitting in chairs, we're typing in code, but it is a physical exercise. We talked about how chess grandmasters spend 6,000 calories in a tournament, right? You're burning a lot of calories, burning those muscles, the brain cells trying to learn. That's heavy, it's impactful on your body. And if you're not getting sleep, the things that you learn are not going to stick for the long term. The things that you put in all that hard work for will slip away. You will develop repetitive stress injuries. You will develop back problems. You will develop eyesight problems. So it is not worth it to push your body past the point of no return. Get your sleep, right? There'll always be more time to learn. There'll always be more time to put in that work. But building out, right? building out a plan for your day that includes the time that you're going to go to bed and the time that you're going to wake might change your life. A lot of folks don't have bedtimes. I have a bedtime. I'm a grown-ass man and I got a bedtime. And you better bet my bottom dollar I'm going to bed at that time, right? Because if I don't stick to that schedule, the time slips by, the YouTube video keeps playing. These companies are very good at getting you to watch just one more video. Don't get got, right? Don't get got. Set up a schedule for your week, set up a schedule for your day, give yourself a bedtime, give yourself a wake up time, and try and stick to it, and know that you're gonna slip up all the time. It's not a perfect process, right? It's not a perfect process. You're gonna get it wrong. It's not always gonna go right, right? And so make sure that you just go into your weeks with a little bit of preparation. You go into your days with a little bit of preparation, and you try your best, right? You try your best. But I'm here to say, even in some of the videos I'm going to share, don't think I'm vouching for it. Get your sleep, please. Overall, it's going to be one of the best things you can do to increase your chances of being successful in learning how to code. Sleeping is one of the things that I guarantee you will help you learn how to code better. How many hours do you sleep? I sleep about 7.5 every night. I'm a little weirder. I find that like if I go over 8, it doesn't work out too well, and if I go below 7, it's not great. And so I'm around like the 7.5 mark, sometimes a little bit later, right? I found that that's my sweet spot. I have a watch that will tell me like if I'm sleeping well or not, and it like does a bunch of other weird stuff like oxygen levels and all that cool stuff. But sleepy time for me has been what is where I started, and it really does help. And I just have the numbers memorized now. I know what time. I know what all my windows are, and if I don't hit my window, I stay up until the next one. Yeah. What brand of watch? It's the Garmin Instinct Solar. Yeah, Instinct Solar. I waited until it was on sale for Cyber Monday. But yeah, sleepy time. Try it out. Try it out. And here's the thing with sleep too. Sleep's different for each person, right? It's different for each person, right? The idea from 6 to 8. There's lots of room in there. For some people it's like 6 to 9 hours I think is the real window. Some people need a little bit more to 8, some people need a little bit less, and it's about finding your right time. And exactly. Bipolar plus sleep equals really important. For me, when I don't have sleep, it's dangerous. Let's just say that. It's dangerous. So yeah. That's my little caveat. And the reason why I did want to spend so much time on that is because I will be sharing a lot of like motivational videos with you, and a lot of those will advocate less sleep. And like we said last time, it's not about how many hours, it's about what you do with the hours that you do have. Some of us might only have the privilege of an hour a day to study. So I'd rather have somebody that goes hard in an hour than somebody that kind of just like fucks around for 5, right? Give me somebody that's focused, that's dialed in, that's getting their stuff done, that's getting their Pomodoro in for an hour. I guarantee you they're putting more down than somebody that's kind of like not really focused for 5. So it's not about how much time you have, it's about what you do with the time that you have, right? Cool. You owe you. If you are putting in all this work, you owe yourself to use Anki. So I gave Dr. Eric Thomas's video today, You Owe You. It's one of my favorite videos because he called me out. He got right into my soul. He kicked it around a little bit, and I felt it. Because if I go to Best Buy and I buy a new VR headset, and I come home and that VR headset, the knob's a little loose, right? Just a little loose, like not even kind of loose, just a little loose. I'm back at Best Buy. I'm always nice. Hey, this didn't work. I need my money back. Give me my money back. It didn't work. It's not what I expected. And I'm there. I'm not there like in a week. I'm there the next day. Next day, hey. Hi, thank you very much. I need my money back. Please. It didn't work. It didn't do what I expected. Right? I want my money back. But I had never asked myself for my money back. I had to think about that for a second. Whenever somebody else does me a little wrong, right? Whenever somebody else just cheats me a little bit, whenever somebody else kind of cuts me a little bit, I'm all up in their stuff. But I never do it for myself. I never said I owe myself, right? So you owe you, right? You owe you. And if you're putting in all this work, if you're showing up, if you're one of the thousands of people here, right? You owe you to do Anki, right? And if you don't do it, ask yourself why. Get your receipt and go demand your money back, right? You owe you. And so don't do the things that we know have been proven to help people learn, right? The stuff that Dr. Barbara Oakley was spitting, you gotta take it to heart. You gotta take active recall to heart. You gotta take spaced repetition to heart. If you're not doing it, this is a waste. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. It's just not worth your time. Go do something else. Go play video games. Come join us on the CSGO servers. If you're gonna do all this, put in the work. You owe you. All right. Rant over. Let's get into it. What's the internet, folks? What's the internet? It's a wire, exactly. It's a wire that enables different devices to communicate, enables our client-side devices to make requests. Those requests can leave those client-side devices, go across those wires, and go to servers. Servers can hear those requests. There's some code running on the servers that can help generate responses, maybe store stuff into a database, maybe process a credit card or two, and then it can respond with some stuff. Okay. All right, golden rule, separation of concerns. We should keep all of our content in our HTML. We should keep all our style in our CSS. We should keep all of our behavior and interaction in our JavaScript. Why? Why do we keep things separate? Why do we keep things apart? And why is this the golden rule? Yeah, for organization, exactly. Organization for ourselves and organization for anybody else that we work with, right? So when somebody else joins our team, right? When somebody else asks you to join, when somebody else joins your team and they're asking you, hey, where do I go make stuff wiggle? You point them to JavaScript. Cool. Alrighty. Here we have the basics of HTML. In HTML, every single bit of content must be wrapped in a tag. And the tags almost always follow the same pattern, where they have this lovely opening tag and then this lovely closing tag. What is the difference? Or sorry, let's skip that here for a second. We know the difference between like the opening and closing tag is that the closing tag can have like these / the opening tags can have like these attribute value pairs. When we're talking about like all of these things, we're talking about the carets, we're talking about the tags, we're talking about all this stuff about how we write HTML. We call all of that what? What up, Nick? How you doing? What do we call all that stuff? My bingo card is hot right now. We call that syntax, right? The spelling, the grammar rules, the things that make up that language, we call it syntax. So in HTML, the syntax involves opening and closing tags. There's slight differences between those. And there are a few tags that are self-closing. We saw image tags, we might have saw input tags. They're self-closing because they're already content. They're not wrapping around content, they are content. Cool. All right, time for some tags. Let's review some of our important tags here, some ones that we've seen in the past.
Oh, okay.
Anybody watch this? Anybody go on YouTube and watch this? I'm curious if anybody went on YouTube and watched the tag competition. I saw some people on Twitter talking about it. I thought it was funny. Yeah, no. It's funny. It's cool. You should watch it. I would be the alarm would go off. The alarm would go off and I just like slip. Like and it'd be over. they're like jumping from like bar to bar. Yeah, no. it would not work out well for me. Alrighty. Here we have our heading elements. Our heading elements describe content that comes after, right? Describes content that comes after. So think of like in a newspaper, you have a headline and that headline describes the article that comes after. So we have H1s through H6s. H1s are supposed to be the what? H1s are supposed to be the what? Big H1 energy. The most important, exactly. We do not choose our H1s, our 2s, our 3s, our 4s, our 5s, our 6s based on how they look. We choose them based on their importance. The H1 being the most important thing on the page. It's the most important thing. There should only be one of them. Slight caveat with HTML5 sections can now each have their own H1, right? This idea though is that we're picking them based off of importance. Okay. We have some elements that we saw before. We have paragraphs for larger pieces of text, spans for shorter pieces of text, pre-tags, which are a what? Pre-tags are a what? What are pre-tags? An abomination. Thank you. An abomination. Thank you. Great word. An abomination. Yeah, there you go. A sin. Whack. Containing element. I keep seeing this question pop up. Divs have maybe some times that you would use them, but we use them sparingly because we got way more semantically correct elements, or just elements with way more semantic meaning, right? So I'm finally remembering all these. Let's go back. Exactly. Yeah. With way more semantic meaning, which means that when you look up the definition on the MDN, there are just times when it makes more sense to use an article and aside than it would make sense to use a div. So divs can still be used, ideally sparingly, or when there's not a more semantic choice to be made. So confused when you use an article. Bobby said, Bobby, you use an article when it's meant to be shared, right? When it's content that you could clip out and share with somebody and they would be able to understand all the content. So think of like a newspaper article, a blog post, things that could be shared and you can like enjoy and understand it all on its lonesome. Would you use divs for styling purposes? No, because I don't ever write HTML with like style in mind, because that gets too close to blurring our separation of concern. Does that mean it has to have a button to be shared? No, it doesn't have to have a button to be shared. How about an aside? I get confused. An aside is just when it's meant to be shared. An aside is just extra or ancillary content. So things that if you remove from the page still goes on fine. So we like to think about asides. Like a really good candidate for an aside would be what, chat? What is like a pretty much a really good candidate for an aside? Ads, exactly. Ads are really good candidates for asides because the ads, if you remove them, hopefully the site still functions well. Cool. All right, we looked at the BBC solution before. What I want to do is I want to mark it up again while we're here. And then what we'll do on Sunday is we'll write out some of the HTML, right? We'll write out some of the HTML together during office hours. But for now, I want to mark it up. I want to mark up this BBC site and see what we get. Alrighty. So, if I'm looking at this BBC site, what would this area up here be? What would I consider that to be? Yeah, I'm going to go with header. Exactly. It's definitely my header. And then inside of that header will be some other things, right? So inside the header, we can see there's probably a nav, right? A nav. Inside that nav, maybe we have some images, and it looks like we have like a list of links inside of our nav. So maybe we have a nav ul li anchor tag, right? Like we have our header. Inside of our header, we have our nav. Inside of our nav, we have our ul. Inside of our ul, we have our individual LIs, and then inside of our individual LIs, we probably have our anchor tags, right? Over here, we probably have a what? Inside of our header somewhere. A form. Exactly, we have a form in there. And when you're writing out your first bits of HTML, do not stress about this stuff. I see so many people stress about, should the form be inside the nav, outside the nav? Should the image be outside the nav, inside? It just doesn't matter in the beginning. Just get your work on the board, right? Just get it on the board, right? Get your work on the board and you'll get better with time. Cool. Alrighty. Next, what would this area here be? What would that area here be? Yeah, a nice section. Exactly, nice section. And then inside of this section, I see kind of like 2 sections more, right? Like I see like 2 sections more. And then how about these up here? What could these be? Maybe they're each different, but what are they? Yeah, there's some sort of headings. right? Some people might have went with H1, some people went with H2s, but they're definitely heading elements. They describe what's happening on the page, right? Definitely some sort of heading. And then if we look inside those sections, we probably have like, I would probably consider this to be like an H1, maybe a paragraph, and then maybe like a span, right? So I say H1, paragraph, span. And then the funny thing is, like, this image, I wouldn't actually put in the HTML. That would be a background image in CSS for me. Don't worry about that for now. We'll see that when we get there too. But for me, that actually wasn't in the HTML. That was like styling the background of that section, right? Like that could have been blue and it would have been okay. To me, it wasn't content, it was style, right? So you can add background images in your CSS. Yeah, we'll get there. Then we have over here, I think I actually kind of see like four more sections here, and each one of those sections has some sort of heading, maybe like an H2 and then like a span. I see like those H2s and then spans, H2s, or it could be H3s depending on how you think about it. Some people like to make these individual ones articles. I don't. I do know a lot of people do like to make those articles. To me, those aren't articles, they're links to articles, right? To me, they're not articles. Like I wouldn't print this out and share it with you. To me, they're like areas to take you to an article, right? But I do know, so I would hand this to some front-end developers I really admire, and they would make those articles, right? Cool. How about down here? Another what? Another what down here? Another section. Exactly, another section. Cool. And then how about news? What would that wind up being? Yeah, some sort of heading element. Yep, another heading element. Cool. And then I could see maybe like 3 more sections here. I think some other people might split them up a little bit differently. This is where it kind of gets. This is where it gets article-y for me, right? This is where it kind of gets a little article-y, because it has like a heading, and then it like talks about it, right? So I could see some people going with 3 articles instead of 3 sections here. Like I could see that. Like if you did that, I totally wouldn't, right? Totally wouldn't even bother me, right? I could see that there. I don't really see it here. This is clearly a section to me, but this starts to blur the line a little bit, right? The ones down here have a heading, they have a photo, they have like a paragraph of content, right? So to me, this is definitely an image, a heading element of some sort, maybe a paragraph, and a span. Some folks might have used like a figure and a figure caption. I don't know if I would go that far here, but for me, I think I would sleep well with 3 sections, each section having an image, a heading, a paragraph, and a span. I'd sleep okay with that. I could also probably sleep okay with, instead of it being a section, it was an article. How about a table? Nah, too old school. What is figure caption? Look it up on the MDN. There's so many other elements that we haven't seen yet, and so there's just so many of them, and it's just sometimes they come up, but the ones that we covered are pretty much all you'll really need, honestly. That plus what you did in Shayhow. Yeah. Cool. Alright, we got about 5 more minutes and then we'll take a break. Where does CSS go? I tell we're reviewing everything tonight. We're reviewing all the stuff. Yeah, it goes in a separate file, exactly. goes in a separate file. There are
Yo,
some
what's up,
exceptions that we've
Adrian?
talked about a couple of times now. You can put CSS in line with your HTML if you're writing HTML emails. And you can put some CSS in
Yeah,
your
I'm
head if
just
you're
working,
doing
man.
critical path CSS at
Got a
Amazon.
whole bunch of
But
stuff to
what did
do
we
today,
see?
so I'm trying to like
What did we
multitask,
see that
work
made
slash
it so
hanging
that
out
we
with
wouldn't
y'all.
want to use inline style or style in the head? Like, what did we see about, like, what do we know about it now that makes the inline in the head bad? Like, why does it make it like hard for us to use? Yeah, exactly. Under the dying stars, full username. Yeah, it was specificity. If I have inline style, how many points of, ooh, that's a good question. How many points of specificity does inline style give you? Beans, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you probably forgot.
Yeah, if you use inline style,
But you not.
if you use inline style, that's 1,000 points of specificity that you somehow have to make up in your CSS. Nobody that's writing like normal CSS will ever get against the keyboard like, why are none of my CSS rules applying? Like, everything looks good in the CSS file, and then they're gonna see that you put some inline style and they're gonna lose it, right? And we now know that's because that it just takes up too much specificity. Yeah, too much specificity. Whenever we want to link to our CSS as in a separate file, we use our lovely link tag, right? Lovely link tag that goes in the head of our HTML document. And the actual specific href is the location of our style sheet. We can put it in any amount of folders that we want, but that CSS/style is saying, hey, starting at the HTML file where the link is, go into a CSS folder and find the style.css. Now, here we have our entire CSS breakdown. So let's play our quick favorite game, and then I think we'll probably take our break.
Yeah, I know it's late over there.
Chat. What is this? Y'all got. I thought I was gonna start with a rule. Get out of here. Now you can't type for 30 seconds. It's a value. How about this? Got him. Y'all got again. I went slow around the property and everybody started typing property real quick. Yeah, it's a declaration. The declaration. Nice. You got it. Thank you, Blah. The declaration. Nice. How about this? How about that? I love seeing the declaration blocks. It's a rule. It's a rule, right? It's a rule. It's a rule because it includes the selector. If it did not include the selector, if it was just this, what do we got there? We got a declaration block. Exactly. And one last one. What is that? Yep. We got a property. All right. So the whole thing is a rule. All right. Whole thing's a rule. Rules broken down into a selector and a declaration block. Declaration blocks are broken down into declarations, and our declarations are broken down into properties and values. Sweet. All right. And once again, why might we want to link to our CSS in a separate file? Separation of concerns, exactly. Organization. All right. We're at the top of the hour. If you're new around here, we like to take breaks. We like to be healthy. We like to make sure that we're in this for the long haul, that we don't develop repetitive stress injuries, that we let our legs get a good stretch, that we get some water, we hydrate. Please hydrate, right? Hydration is key, folks. Get some water. And so
Yeah,
we're
I
going to
should
put
probably
5
do
minutes
that.
on our timer. And after those 5 minutes, we'll be right back and we're going to get our fingers on the keyboard. No more just me talking. We're going to start getting some practice in. We're going to practice our CSS basics.
Yo, what's up,
We're going
bro?
to practice our specificity. We're going to practice our box model. I'm
I'm
really
gonna take my
excited to
break in
practice the
30
box. I know a lot of
minutes
folks have some
at
trouble
3.
with it. But go ahead. Main series game, so I don't feel like I have to do the midnight, you know? All right, folks, come on back. Alrighty. All right, folks, come on back. Come on back. Right? We had a specific
Yeah, those
syntax.
to-do list apps,
We had
man.
these
That's a good place to
rules
start.
that we had to follow when writing our HTML and CSS. We had carets, we had curly braces, all these things that we had to follow for it to work. Well, JavaScript has its own specific syntax as well. All right. Next, we have our less than and greater sign with our JavaScript.
Okay.
They're not really like brackets, right? They're not the things that we're using to like encapsulate like we did with HTML. We're using these for logic, less than or greater than, right? So we're going to start seeing these be used when we get to comparison. When we get to our conditional logic later today, right? We're going to be using them for less than or greater than, things like that. We're still going to have our commas and ticks. They have places, and dots. They have their place in JavaScript. We have a forward slash, which we'll see when we get to things like division. Our forward slash will be used for division. And we also have our question mark. This question mark in JavaScript actually gets a name. It's called a ternary selector. Don't worry about that for right now. I'm just showing you that it'll come up. And some people might call it a ternary, but we'll get there. We're going to have our colons and our semicolons, and we're going to use these quite often. Colon and then semicolon. We're going to have our singular quotes and our double quotes, and we're also going to have ticks, which are with the tilde key, right? That'll all kind of serve similar purposes.
Yeah.
We're going to have backslashes that you'll see come up, and then
really
important
there,
on that key, right above your enter key, is the pipe character. And this double, whenever you have these two pipe characters next to each other, that is how we represent the logic of or, right? How we say or. So whenever you see the double pipe character, that's or.
I got a Slack.
We're gonna have hyphens, and they're gonna be used for subtraction, right?
Hold on a second.
And then we're gonna have our parentheses. Now, for some reason, I don't know when I picked up this habit. I call parentheses parens. I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah,
so if you ever hear me talking about,
I gotta take this meeting. This is my lead developer right now, but. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. I'm a hop back up here probably in like 30 minutes to an hour. All right.
Parens. I just mean parentheses.
I'm just gonna pause it here
so we can vocabulary.
Resume. Y'all have a good Friday. If I don't see you when we back on. Peace.